Good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Long. I live in Toronto, Canada. I just like to recently share a book that's recently been released. It's called Islam and Terrorism. As you see here is the truth about ISIS, the Middle East, and the Islamic Jihad. And the author of this book is Mark A. Gabriel, PhD. He was a former Muslim himself and fortunately converted to Christianity. He didn't have very much freedom into releasing this book. But anyways, I'd like to share some things about him. I'm a Canadian Christian, and I just want to wish you Muslims a happy Ramadan, even though I don't celebrate the Ramadan. But I'm hoping and praying that you are okay. We're not trying to hate you or isolate you away from everything, but I just want to share to you about this book, and I just want to. And he was a former Muslim professor of Islamic history at Al-azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. Yeah, so I'm about to read this book, and I tried to put my other videos on, but it didn't work as it was long. So anyways, here I go. The Shared Islam and Terrorism. The preface. In the second edition of Islam and Terrorism, I want to bring you, my dear readers, as I'm a reader, to read to you. Answer the primary questions people are asking today about violence in the name of Islam. Where does this violence come from? And what has inspired a global movement of angry men and women to leave everything behind and to take arms? Fighting, killing, destroying in the name of Allah. Really? In the name of Allah? Muslims, are you hearing that? In the name of Allah? And unfortunately, in this first chapter, I may not be able to share to you about what's in the Quran, but the other parts of the book, my friend Mark A. Gabriel will share, and I will share some recent parts of the Quran verses in the next chapter or two that will release more where in the Quran mentions about the violence and all the things that's written in it. So I'll briefly share with you, but let's continue because I'm trying to keep this video brief and short as possible and share to you the truth. What my friend's releasing, and I do believe and agree with him on these terms. In the edition will help you to understand the historical and current roots that are contributing to the chaos our world is controlled by. In the end, you will find ideas for the most important questions. What is the solution? Is there any solution at all? Is there any hope for peace to establish the Middle East? With this book, I'll try to provide a dimension of understanding that is difficult to find in the world of secular and politically correct media. In this book, I will introduce you to the teaching that are widely taught throughout the Islamic world because these are the teachings from Al-azhar University. We can say that for Muslims, it is what the Vatican is for the Catholics. It can be considered the brain educational system of Islam. So the training present in the book is an Islamic teaching, according to the world's teaching of Islamic scholars. You may wonder how I can be so confident that I understand the mindset of a radical Muslim. The reason is that with my background, I could have become one of those radicals. You know, sometimes you feel like you're one of those radicals, and sometimes he's trying to keep the peaceful side of Islam, but fortunately he decided to convert to Christianity. I'm not trying to blame you that you're not peaceful, loving Muslims, as we all are, people, Christians and Jews and people alike, are trying to keep peaceful relations. But if you find out that Islam is not a peaceful religion, just decide and think among yourselves. Okay? I'm not trying to hate you or discriminate you. This world is in trouble mess as it is. I have several university and I have teaching position. I have several friends and students in my classes who are active jihad. Personally, I prefer to focus on the peaceful side of Islam, but I was unable to ignore the violent side I saw in the Quran. As I briefly said, you might have briefed in recent videos and people who left Islam or converted into one or deciding to leave Islam, or you have questions on your belief in faith, and even what's written in the Quran. And I'll briefly share more details, just like anyone else is trying to share the truth to you about it. Personally, I prefer to focus on the peaceful side of Islam, but I was unable to ignore the violent side I saw in the Quran and in Islamic history. See, guys, the violent side of the Quran and the history of Islam. We have to think among ourselves, especially Muslims. If you have that question, just share a brief link, describe to me, and I'll do my very best to help you. But just keep a peaceful heart and mind. In the inner struggle, intimately lead me to question the basics of my faith, as you all are. For which I was arrested, tortured by Egyptian secret police. Another important part of my story is that I am no longer a follower of Islam. And you see here, this also me to speak more freely about the teachings of Islam, but it is also part of me at risk of punishment from the radicals. I have been stabbed, shot at, threatened multitude times. I'm used even to receive death threats in reviews of my book that were posted online. These issues are a fact of life for me and many others like me who have exercised their freedom of religion and have faced judgment from a Muslim world. Wow, really. However, I want to make it very clear that Muslims are not my enemies, and you so are not my enemies. In the Christian Bible, it says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute, insult, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you. It's good for us to share our belief and faith at least. If you agree or not, that's okay. Because, let your yes be yes and no's be no's. And love and value and respect each other's as it is. That's the best way we can do Muslims and anyone else too, okay? Even if you share among your fellow Muslims who are around you, or you're sharing it wherever you go. However, I want to make it very clear that in this book does not want to talk bad about Muslims in any way. My family in Egypt and all my friends had to leave behind. I had to leave behind. I left Islam are still Muslims. I still love them as I still love you too. Despite of all I have gone through, and my heart is crying out for all those sincere people who are working hard during their lives, trying to do good, hoping that at the end of their lives, Allah might admit them to paradise. My heart cries out for them because I know about the suffering that the teachings of Islam can cause. And most Muslims are born into this religion. It was not their choice. I grew up as one of them. As my friend here grew up and he was one of them, of course. Let's see where I left off here. Memorizing the Quran as a child and studying Islam for many years, I know about the suffering and discrimination and the lack of freedom that the teaching of Islam are causing, not only to non-Muslims, but first of all Muslims themselves. When you read about the very challenging teachings of Islam that bring so much pain and violence to this world, please keep in mind, I am not trying to make Muslims look bad, as I'm trying to make you Muslims look bad either. Where am I? What I am trying to do is to help them and others to see what motivates an Islamic radical. I am a free person, Today I am living in a free country. I can ask hard questions about Islam. The Muslim people I left behind cannot question their beliefs. I want you to see the very, very important distinction. Bear with me, please. Islam is a religion. Muslims are people who are following the teachings of Islam according to many different interpretations. Muslims are also the ones suffering the most from Islamic radicalism. Radical Muslims who are committed to live, die, kill for jihad are the majority. By far, the greatest majority of Muslims wish to live a peaceful lives, to enjoy their family life, and to work hard to provide good future to their children. If you have Muslim friends, neighbors, acquaintances, and of course I do, unfortunately, please be kind to them and treat them with respect. As I'm trying to view, it's 3 ingredients: value, love, and respect enough. These are the 3 ingredients that I try to follow, as any one of you try to follow. Muslims, if you hear that, these are the 3 ingredients I said: value, love, and respect. They are probably the nice people live in a peaceful way and not wanting to cause trouble for you or anyone else. Do not treat them as your enemies. Best thing that you can do is to enjoy your friendship and learn about their culture. If you ever discuss religion with someone else, please keep a good attitude and be very sensitive to don't want to hurt their religious feelings. It is normal that every person wants to defend his faith. It is very important, very helpful to always keep in mind, above all, we are all brothers and sisters in humanity. Get it, guys? Not in your religion, but in humanity. And I keep that perspective, at least with you Muslims. We are all searching for the truth. And now section 1, Section 1, the reasons for radicalism. Chapter 1, how can Arab Spring turn as an ISIS winter? In the chapter, I will explain the hope of Arab Spring's result to a new level of Islamic extremism, as the radicals took advantage of that vacuum in leadership to gain new ground for their cause. During the whole year of 2011, one major topic dominated the world media, the so-called Arab Spring. A revolution crying out for freedom and democracy was spreading over the whole Middle East. And I'm going to pause right here because I want to release this because I have to work on my videos more, but I'm going to share the rest of this chapter 1 book with you, okay?